This is the word of the Lord. He gives you an opportunity to have him change his judgment.
Yeah.
But you, it is up to you. He is not going to force you. He's going to tell you, I am going to do this. Here is your chance to change my mind.
Yeah. 'Cause God said, if you
And,
repent, I will remember the covenant. Him
yeah,
telling me.
and that is called grace.
Yes. If you repent, I'll remember my covenant with your forefathers. But if you don't, my promise is my promise. I'm not man that I will lie.
Interesting thing. This word die. We must look at this death. It is interesting to look at that word. I'm gonna check something. So but go ahead and continue. I'm coming back to it. So you can go to the next verse. I'm gonna come back to this word die. Because I want to double check something.
Isn't why looking you're looking at it from the physical and the spiritual, right?
Well, I'm looking at it from Adam coming up. I want to see if it's the same word that
Oh,
was
all right.
used in Genesis. Give me a minute.
Okay. All right.
So,
Let's come
verse
back
2.
to
And now they sin more and more, and have made them molten images of their silver, and idols according to their own understanding, all of it the work of the craftsman. Crafty of them, let the men that sacrifice kiss the calves.
well, we know that Jeroboam was the start of it. And God said, because of you, I'm going to do this. We just find that out. But no, God is saying, not only the Jeroboam sin, but Israel is now not just have two calves. They no longer just have two calves. They're making their own images. Idolatry is rampant. Calf worship is not just, and it didn't say it was calf anymore. It just said idols.
Mhm.
Okay. Can I
But
interrupt again?
hmm
Let me take you back.
okay,
1 second. 13. Come on.
let me check. Got to their own understand.
Okay. This word that was used here is the
hmm
same word moose that was used when God
hmm
warned Adam. Genesis 2:16 and 17. When God warned Adam that if he eats from this tree, he will surely die. All right? The same word is used.
No.
No. Interestingly, it means literally die, shall be put to death, condemned to die, or dead.
Well, they
It
did
has
that.
three different, pardon me?
One talk.
It has
Condemned to die.
it is used in one word, but context
hmm
gives it the exact meaning. Because it means died, figuratively, the person is deceased. It means the person is condemned to die. It means the person um, is dying,
hmm
right? Or was dead. It means all the conditions of death. It is interesting because the Greek word, which is close to that, right? Oh, come on now. The Greek word is, you have four different words in the Greek, four different ones that I could find, right? And let me go to that. You have the ones we know: necros, Thanos, apothekdeko, and kinesi. Necros is the physical death. Thanos means spirit. Neko means the person is condemned to die. And kishmishi means the person is buried. That is where we get the word cemetery from,
hmm
right? It's the place that you are buried. It's a place of dead bodies. So interesting, because the Greek is more specific in the words used, but in the Hebrew, one word is used, but the context becomes the definition. It will be the definition. All right, you were saying that.
No, I was just repeating to make sure it's stick in my head that there were three different forms. All three forms of death apply to Israel,
Yeah.
apply to them right now. They died spiritually, they were dying physically, and they were going to continue dying.
And then they gotta get buried.
No, God said they're not going to get buried. The only person who was buried was that son. Dogs and will eat those in the city,
Oh yeah.
and birds will eat those in the countryside. None of them will be buried.
No. This is specific to Jeroboam and his kids.
Jeroboam is his lineage.
Yes,
His
this is
house.
specific for him, not for Israel. For Jeroboam.
Hmm.
Mm.
All right?
But all of
That is
Israel will
specific
get
for
it.
Jeroboam. Not for all of Israel.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay,
so
but
the context here is that when he did this, he was condemned to death.
Yes, he was.
And here, when you read it from in Kings, it shows that yes, God did condemn Jeroboam, and He has then condemned everybody who is doing the same thing. They are guilty of the same sin as their king,
Yep.
and they too are and found to be wanting and condemned to the same fate, death.
Yep.
Right? Because remember, he has now switched not just from Ephraim, but Israel. He's done it in Israel where they are like-minded. Okay, let's go on to verse 2. Spend half an
well,
hour on verse 1.
as you said, verse 2, he is the one who started this ball rolling, and now, indeed, it is rolling with speed. They have made themselves molten images of their silver and idols according
I,
to their.
I don't even reach there so yet.
Mhm.
I'm still at,
How
and
do
now
you
they
more
sin
and
more and more. 'Kay, when we go back to Hosea, the rest of Hosea, where Hosea was talking about how they had were doing human sacrifice now, and they were fornicating in front of the gods, and they were prostituting their family. They have gone beyond just worshiping and bowing down to these calves, because Hosea said that they were involved in slaughter now, which is human sacrifices. They were doing human sacrifice. They were bringing their children out. They were selling their daughters. They were sacrificing. Human sacrifice was a big thing now. So they have found new. I don't want to say new sin, but this worship of Baal has evolved from just bowing down. It has evolved into other very perverse actions.
Let me read something for you and listen to how closely this is. They are slanderers,
Hmm.
haters of God, insolent, arrogant, boastful, inventors of new forms of evil, disobedient, and disrespectful to parents.
Isn't that what Jesus said?
This is coming from Romans 1:30. This is
Ooh.
New Testament.
Describe, because that's exactly what happened here. What God
But
is saying.
New Testament, he wasn't addressing. This was to the Romans. This was addressing the church. This was being
So this is
addressed to
what
the church.
First Corinthians.
This is Romans 1 verse 30. Paul's letter to the Romans. He is describing the situation in society at that time.
But that
Nothing changed.
nothing has changed.
And in
Obviously,
fact, and in fact, if we were to apply this to today's generation, it
it
has
hasn't
gotten
changed.
worse.
It
It
hasn't.
hasn't changed.
Yep. Because I can see where no, I jump in the gun when I said they kiss the calf. Because kissing the calf is almost like the Roman Catholics kissing the rings and kissing all the
This
things
country.
that are happening now. But let's go. We don't reach just say it. Let's continue. But
All
now
right.
they sin more. So we established that. And have made themselves molten images of their silver and idols according to their own understanding. So they didn't just make their own image, they made it based on what them understand. So if me understand, say, my God, make out a silver with one bird head, one human body with cow foot, that mega make friends being made now. It's not just the two cow. People are
No,
making their own idols based on how they understand it.
But remember, let's go back to Hosea 12, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you will see where they find the exact verse. 12:11, it says, though Gilead has idols, surely vanity they are. In Gilgal, bulls, though they sacrifice, indeed, their altars shall be in heaps in the fields, in the furrows. Means
Mm-hmm.
they everybody had their own little idol in their field, in their property. As I said yesterday, it was like you're driving along and you see these stone fences on the farms, and everybody has a stone fence. In the same way, you would have this altar built for their gods, and depending on where they want to worship the god, they may have an altar all over the place. For example, if I'm planting corn, I may have a god of corn. If I'm planting wheat, I may have a god of wheat over there. So I sacrifice different parts of the field.
That
And that's
sounds like Hinduism.
exactly.
That sounds like
But this is not,
Hinduism.
it's not new.
I remember,
You
and
yeah,
the Hinduism, the calf is, you can't kill cow,
holy cow.
literally. Because cow is sacred.
All right. So the issue is the way they have done it, it is not new. You can see it in Buddhism, Hinduism, Ganesh, and all these people, and you can see exactly how the Israelites were worshiping. Just look at the East, and you will see it. This is exactly how they did it, starting from Islam, going down to the Hindu, going down to the Buddhist, right, and the various flavors in between, right? So they would if they were planting this year, they would have this God for this. If they were doing that over there, they'd have that God for that. So they had, if they wanted a child, they would have a different God for that. If they were doing something that requires some prosperity thing, they'd have a different God for that. And so they would pass out their allegiance based on what they wanted the God to do.
Here's what Second Kings 17, verse 8 and 9, no, and verse 8 to 10 describe it. And walked in the custom of nations that the Lord had driven out before the Israelites, as well as in the practices introduced by the kings of Israel. The Israelites secretly did things against the Lord their God that were not right. From watchtowers to fortified cities, they built high places in all their cities. They set up for themselves sacred pillars and Asherah poles on every high hill and under every green tree.
Yes, Mother Nature. We see it today, but we don't.
We
Where
don't
do
pay.
you see
Yep.
this concept of Mother Nature comes from? Azarath,
Yeah.
because she was supposed to be the goddess of nature and fertility. That was who she was. That's the
And
God that they worshipped back then. And it's not only the Jews, it was common throughout the Middle East.
yeah, because God said that here in Kings, they said they walk in the custom of the nations. So all the Canaanites that were there, they adopted their customs and all of
Yes,
those things that the kings added. So they had the Canaanite custom plus the ones that the kings create. So they were a modernized version of the Canaanites. So Israel
yeah,
brought what they brought from Israel and from from Egypt and mix it with the Canaanites and got their own perverted version.
so what did they do? They invented a new
New
way
religion of, yeah,
to do evil,
yep.
which is what the Bible in Romans said, inventors of new ways to do evil.
And remember what they said. And Jackie, right where God said that the furrows will look like furrows, King saying every single hill had a pole and every green tree had a pole. So you know what that means? Everywhere you look,
It was common, everybody was having
everybody, the cities had it, the towns had it, every high hill. So wherever you look, one pole there. Yeah, if you're on green tree, one pole there. If you're on hill, one pole there. So you couldn't miss it.
But my question is, what was the point of it all?
For
The
them to
point
worship
was
that.
No, it's not just worship. You must understand what the point was. If it is just to worship,
Let me,
then it is
yeah,
a wasted effort. It is not only to worship, it is to seek favor. If we think that is only to worship, and we don't understand what the worship is, the worship is a means to an end. Okay, the worship is a means to an end. When you're planting corn, and you then have a particular God for that particular grain crop. The only reason that you invoke that God is to ensure that you have a prosperous harvest.
yeah.
The reason why they were worshiping Azareth is for either they were wanting children, or they wanted to have rain, or they wanted to have some sort of blessing. They wanted the blessings of their God. In fact,
Yeah.
one of the reasons why they had all this prostitution and sex in the open air in the temple is because you must understand how their thinking was. This is how it worked. They figured that the gods loved sex. And so when they were having sex in the temples of their gods, it would get the god excited. The god would be for years. And the god would start having sex too.
God,
Okay?
this was
And when,
fertility
and when
move.
and then when the gods started having sex, then they would benefit from the God being
Mm.
in a good mood.
Oh, I see.
All
So
right.
it's a good,
And
buy them
so
a buy.
yeah, so they would then benefit from the God being in a good mood, and therefore the God would bless them. It was a means to an end. It was not because they were just so um, debauchery. It was simply a transaction. They enjoyed it
Yeah.
because it was what they wanted to do. But the reason we must get behind the reason, the rationale for doing, there must be a reason. And the reason was they were seeking benefits from these gods. And this is why when Elijah was, they were calling unto their God, do da 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 da. And he was saying, maybe he was sleeping. You need to shout louder. Because in tradition, they had to get the God's attention. And this is why when they were having sex in the temple, or they were cutting themselves, or they were beating up things, this is all to get the God to turn his attention to them and to give them some fringe benefit. That's all it was. But in doing so, you belittle the Lord of hosts. You disrespect the Lord of hosts. You are calling on a demon to provide you with your sustenance, something the demon cannot do. And you are saying to the Lord of hosts, we don't want anything to do with you. This is the offense.
Yep.
So if we continue with verse 2, because we're out of time, I think we can finish verse 2. I'm not hearing anything from Sorrow.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Going on with verse 2, we know that they created all the works from craftsmen. I found interestingly Elijah. You remember when Elijah ran away from Ahab? 'Cause Ahab and Jeroboam wanted to kill Elijah, and Elijah ran away to save his life. Interestingly, God told Elijah that he was going to kill the Israelites and save. Well, I know it wasn't for the end, but to show how God hated what they were doing. In the time of Elijah, God said that Valley of Jehu
Yeah,
from
yeah.
beginning. Yeah. God said that Jehu is going to kill everybody who kissed Baal, and only
Yeah.
those. Verse 18 of Second Kings 19, First King 19 said, "Yet I reserve 7,000 in Israel, all those knees that have not bowed down to Baal, and whose mouth have not kissed him. Only 7,000 were left." Jehu killed everything else. Jehu and Elisha will put to death any who escape. No, let me go. Verse 17 says, Jehu will put to death, and those who escape Elisha shall put to death, and only 7,000 will he keep, those that did not bow down and worship and kiss Baal. That's how God hated it. And even when God did that, they still continued years, centuries later.
Interestingly, the word in Hebrew is nashak, which means to kiss, yes, but it can also mean to touch.
Hmm.
It can also mean to merely handle. If you see, it is not just a matter of kissing the thing, it's
It's physical
handling.
contact.
Yes, it's physical contact, handling the thing with reverence and so on, and you treasure it. It is something that you're emotionally connected to.
Oh Lord.
This is the issue.
Sarah, you supposed to can speak to this because this is the Roman Catholic.
Well, we don't have the Roman Catholic don't have no calf, but
No, they have idols.
they have idols that are supposedly representing Jesus, because they don't have none that represent anything than Jesus and the Virgin
They have
Mary.
Mary. And then if you kiss the bishop hand, they bring on the bishop hand and the pope hand, and if you touch the pope coat and
You
Yeah.
kiss the feet of the statues.
yes, you bow
They
down
have
to the
different scenes. No, they have different statues of different saints. They have
mm-hmm,
statues of angels. They have statues of Mary. They have
mm-hmm.
statues of Jesus. And they kiss the feet of these things depending on who they're praying to.
Yep. And even emperor. I
I
remember.
was
I can never forget the one that I learned in high school, Jackie, where you said good morning, said Mary, Joseph, good morning, Mary, and then you say morning to Jesus. You remember that prayer? There?
I
And then
never,
that evening you change it to good evening.
no, sir, I never did say that. I don't remember
No,
that one.
no, I
I did
remember that's what, but we stopped saying that first part and just said the second part. I remember that when I went into grade 7, that was the prayer that they were teaching us to say.
well,
I'll
I never
never
learned
forget
that
it.
one.
I'd never forget it. Good
I
morning,
never
St.
learned that
Joseph, my protector. Saint I'm Mary, my mother. And then you would say, I give you my heart, my soul, and my mind. Keep me from sin this day and forever. I'll never forget
one.
it.
I've never had that prayer. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
well,
That's
they,
that's prayer.
I no, I remember it.
That's serious prayers, man.
Yeah, man, I was serious prayer. They taught us it, but then when I came into grade 7, I had a Catholic form teacher, and she taught us that. But towards the end, we the students stopped saying it and just start saying the last part. Like I was saying, that's a good man to know, Joseph, not Mary.
Good Lord.
But that was that was part of the prayer. Me don't know you never get the prayer, but we remember the prayer. And of course the Virgin Mary prayer, where you pray when you sin. What you call it again, sorrow? And you have a rosary. And of
Mhm.
course the Buddhists them have them prayer beads, and so they
The
all have
Muslim,
something.
the Muslim have the prayer beads too.
And the Buddhists have the prayer beads too.
Hmm.
Well,
But yes, this thing of getting physical, uh, I don't know how to explain that. I know that there's back in the days, yeah, you have different degrees of how to say, uh, of paying respect when you salute, and the kissing of the hand would be the highest. You address yourself to the highest. Like when you go, it depends as well who you are, because you couldn't go just like that, kiss the hand of a king or something like this. So yeah, that is all some sort of hierarchy or whatsoever thing.
when you
Um,
go ahead.
now I
Some
was saying,
some cultures love kissing too. You greet someone, you have to kiss. Some are more physical than others. I know, like in Turkey, men are accustomed to kiss each other when they greet each other. And they can be physical, by the way, like they would touch you, like your hand or your back or things like that. And some other countries, you don't dare do that. But
Um,
this,
I always remember in the word that Jackie gave that meant kiss. Kiss doesn't mean literal kissing. It meant touching something.
yeah, physical
Also
Because
means but it also means handling. To
yeah, that's
touch.
what I'm getting at. Because for some of the idols, they were not able to kiss those idols, like moon worshippers. There was no way you could kiss the moon, but they created things that represented the moon that they touched with reverence.
yeah, some
Yes.
sort to transfer your feelings somehow or what
And
you're
then that bring me back to the Africans and other persons who do ancestral worship.
mm.
They can't kiss their ancestors, so they have images and they have um, wooden plaque that they would hug and bow down to represent their ancestors.
Oh, them it have some odd tradition all over the world. Like in Madagascar, where you would bury someone, and then every year you would go dig it back out and carry the body throughout all the village and have a party
Mm,
and then
that
put it
sound
back.
like the Day of the Dead that the Latinos celebrate.
So yes, do think
So those are different form of idol worshiping. You're
that is
praying to
good.
your ancestors to bless you. They're humans. They're dead. How can they bless you
Well, is
and
different.
protect you?
It comes with different beliefs, and some people believe of after death, but they don't believe yet in God. It's all sorts of things, just like people who believe in reincarnation, all these type of things. So these are all the derivatives.
So they worship according to their own understanding.
Mm.
Whatever may understand that may I go do. So if
But
Jackie understand it one way, that him will do. And if me understand it one way, me I go do it my way.
most importantly, what we see here, and this is what we need to do with it, there is no central authority direct that they should be worshiping this way or that way. People are doing that which they felt they should do and to get away with it. Listen, Israel was doing that when they were wandering they were worshiping the Lord of hosts, how they saw fit. They were worshiping the Lord as they thought they should. Everybody's household would be different in terms of how they approached worship. When they were going into the land, right, Moses gave them the laws and said, your means of work, your method of worship will change. At the time when they were worshiping in the wilderness, everybody had their altar. They could sacrifice as they saw fit. But when they were going to the land, the Lord gave them the laws and said, your mode of worship will change. Instead of having all of these altars all over the place ad hoc, you are expected to have one altar in the place that the Lord Himself shall choose. When you go into the land, the Lord will choose one place from among the tribes with one altar, and it is there and only permitted to sacrifice and to carry your tithes and to have your feast and to have your celebrations. Only in this place because it is where the Lord will abide.
Hmm.
So this is a different method from what they started practicing in Israel after they left, after the separation of the two sections. They went back to this method where everybody was doing what they felt like, and there
Yeah.
was nobody to say that you are wrong and you are right.
Here is what Paul said in Colossians. And this is the New Testament, which is funny. Colossians 2 and the last verse, verse 23. Such, he was talking about the rules that man imposed on themselves when it comes to worship. Such regulations indeed have an appearance of wisdom, and their self imposed worship, their false humility, and their harsh treatment of the body, but they lack any value in restraining sensual indulgence. Isn't that exactly what Israel was doing at the time of Hosea?
Yeah, they were doing what they felt like, and they were indulging in sexual intercourse.
Their own self-imposed worship.
Yeah, and when it says when you are inflicting harm on the body, that's what they were doing, cutting themselves, flogging themselves to get the attention of the
Hmm.
God. That's the whole
But
point.
Hmm.
To get
somehow
Yeah.
the
it
uh,
was making them feel good. Just like when
No,
people
no, they were getting.
feel good.
That's how they got the attention of their God, by
when you're
harming
cutting yourself, you're
themselves.
not feeling good. When you're slicing yourself up, you're
You
not
know,
feeling
that's
good.
pain,
Shooting
but you
yourself,
were
you're not
doing it to get the attention of your God.
exactly because you wanted some benefit from Him. That's the
Right.
whole point of what I'm saying. We have to look at the rationale for the action, not
So
the
it's not
action
that they
itself.
were liking it. It's that this
Right?
is how they got their God's attention. By inflicting
Exactly.
harm, by having sex, by doing all of this. That's how they call to them God. Can remember with Elijah when is it Elijah? When he with the Baal worshippers. They were cutting themselves, they were beating up themselves, they're doing all sort of something. And he said, call like a louder. He's not hearing them, he's probably sleeping.
Probably went out on a
And him
mission
said,
and
make
come back.
more noise because him probably sleeping and you need to wake him up. That's what he said to them. And they actually started to beat more. They started to shout more. They started to cut up themselves more just to get it. And
Get the attention of their God.
mm,
That's it.
that's what they were doing to get the attention of their God. And all the one little prophet did was to call one time.
Yeah, yet we know it's not the loudest that get the attention.
Yeah. Heavenly Father, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we come before you this morning, knowing, Father, you are the only true God, the God who created the heavens and the God who